Jordan Adler is the man behind one of the most influential books in network marketing, Beach Money. He didn't start with wealth or connections or even much confidence, but he did have a vision and the grit to see it through.
But I did work my way through college. Right out of school, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona with a guitar, a suitcase, and $250.
Today, Jordan has built a business that's taken him around the world, and yes, even into the cockpit of a helicopter.
We're going to talk about some fun things.
In this conversation, Richard Bliss Brooke and Jordan Adler share the stories behind the early struggles, the breakthroughs, and what it takes to turn a dream into a legacy. They talk helicopters, beach money, how they got started, and what they're building now. This is the Authentic Networker Podcast.
Richard Bliss Brooke here. We are live.
We sit here today with none other than
Mark Victor Hansen,
Bob Proctor.
This is Kendra Hall,
Sonia Stringer,
Jeff Canfield,
DeWitt Jones,
James Clear,
Les Brown.
Hey everybody, Richard Bliss Brooke here. Thank you for joining us for the Authentic Networker. And to my left, from Jerome, Arizona, the one and only Jordan Adler.
Hey, what's up, Richard? Good to see you. Hi, everybody.
We're going to tell some stories and we're going to learn some lessons. And our intention is to inspire you to break through whatever's holding you back and get busy. Because if Jordan can do this, if I can do this, any of you out there can do this. So you just get to put away your excuses and let's go. So we're going to start with storytelling because Jordan Adler has one of the most famous, most inspirational, perhaps inspired the most people in our profession that they can do this by his story. Because as you listen to his story, you think, my God, is this guy deaf, dumb, stupid? What is he? What's the deal? It's crazy. But he just kept at it. And I'm going to ask him why. Like, why did you stay at it? Why did you try so many companies that didn't work? Why did you stick around for I think it was the 14th or 13th company that finally worked?
It was actually the 12th.
12th company.
12th, yeah.
I don't know anybody that's ever done that. So we're going to find that out. And then we're going to go deep on some philosophical things. And we're going to talk about some fun things. Woo, 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 woo. Let's start with your story, Jordan.
All right.
Where do you come from?
Well, I met you. I want to start with where I met Richard. Actually, I was at a mastermind event in Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't remember the year, but it was right before I sponsored my first distributor in a network marketing company. But I had already been in network marketing for 10 years at that point. But I met Richard, and Richard had a huge impact on me. His story affected me, and then I read his first book, and I felt a connection with him, although we didn't know each other at that point. I got to know him, and then couple of my dreams came true, and that I got to speak years later. I got to speak on the same stages with him, and then eventually, he was one of the people that really inspired me to get my helicopter pilot's license, and we ended up taking flight together, which will be a story for another time, maybe later in this interview. So I was living in Chicago, Illinois. My father saved his money all of his life for myself and my sisters to go to college for 1 year, and then we had to figure out a way to pay for the other 3. Never took out any loans, but I did work my way through college. I got a college degree in landscape architecture, and right out of school, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona with a guitar, a suitcase, and $250. Bought a little $200 motorcycle the day after I arrived and started applying for jobs and then also looking in the newspaper for opportunities. I was at a garage sale in the probably 19, 20 years old. I picked up a book called The 10 Napkin Presentations by Don Failla. And I bought that for $0.25. And it taught me the two things I remembered from the book that really changed me were residual income and leverage. Those were the two things. And I wanted I had made a decision in my 20s that I wanted a residual income. That was a requirement for what my future was going to look like. I didn't know where that was going to come from or how it was going to look, but I started going through the newspaper and finding opportunities, and I'd find an exciting opportunity like Sunset Travel Clubs, and I'd sign up for it, and I would talk to 2 or 3 of my friends, and they would be negative and say that those things are pyramids and they don't work and nobody makes money and only the people at the top make money and you're never going to do anything with that. And I would quit. And I did that every year. I'd sign up for a new company approximately every year. For 10 years, I was in 11 different companies. I was in Amway twice. I went to some of their, their big rallies. I bought their book of the week and their tape of the month, and I listened. I was very, very disciplined about reading and listening, and I was coachable, but I would get discouraged after a few months because nothing was happening in my business, and I would quit. And I did that over and over again. And then my 12th company was a company called Excel Communications. Richard, you remember it. They had about 30,000 distributors when I joined the company. And I was there for 13 years. And on my 8th month, I actually got my 8th month in that company. I got my first checks. So a total of $180. But I started signing people up for the first time, and I was doing presentations at a little coffee place, and I had a plan, and I'd made a decision. That was the key thing. I'd made a decision that no matter what happens, as long as there were people making money in that company, I wasn't going to quit. And even in the days where I was extremely discouraged, there were 3 things that happened in the first 12 months that would have knocked anyone else out of the business. 1,000 people, all of them would have quit, but I decided not to. And I just kept going, signing up approximately a little less than 1 person a month, which is slow for somebody who's building. That's slow. But after 2 years, I'd doing 3 presentations a week on average. I signed up 19 people, and my first 18, actually the first 15 did nothing. But my 16th was Jackie Ullman.
Oh,
and
really?
Jackie,
I love Jackie
had never done that. She was very skeptical, never done network marketing before. Her husband was an airline pilot, and she worked for the airline as an analyst. And I went to their home on Christmas and answered all their questions. And they had a barrage of questions for me. Well, she signed up. She signed up a woman in New Mexico named Judy Dubiel, who was a student and a secretary. And that woman, very shy, very timid, quiet, not confident at all, but she started inviting people to her home. And over the course of the next 3 years, she signed up a handful of people, probably in the range of 20. And from those came over 12,000 distributors and 40,000 customers, and I made my first million. That was my 16th distributor out of my first so my first 15 did nothing. They either quit or became customers. My 16th did that, and that after 2 years I had 19. But I just went on for the next 13 years. I signed up 144 people, which is less than 1 a month. And from those 144 came 5 that built a group of 85,000 and 250,000 customers, and I made millions and millions of dollars with that company. Richard, here's a little fun fact for you. I was living in an enclosed garage. My rent at 34 years old, my rent was $200 a month. There were 2 roommates that lived in the house. And I got to the point where I was so busy running around the country building my business that I didn't have time to move. So I got to where I was making $34,000 a month, and I was still living in a garage. I mean, that was the least important thing, was moving into a nice place.
Did you still have the $200 scooter, or did you buy yourself a decent car?
No. I had a few. By that time, I had a few cars, but I had a Jeep that was broken down in the street for 2 years at the age of 34, $36,000 in credit card debt on 22 credit cards. Most of that credit card debt was going to events for all these different network marketing companies, buying product, buying audiobooks, all the kind of stuff. It was cassette tapes back then. But I did end up, I think my first nice car after the Jeep, I did get the Jeep fixed and sold it, and then I bought a 740i. BMW, I think is what it was, black.
Well, it's one of the things that fascinates me, Jordan, is the ripple effect that people have. So Don Fela wrote that book, gosh, I don't know, maybe in the 70s. And for you to find it at a garage sale, that's like a God thing, Oh, that's a weird thing.
Yeah. And then of all the books that were there, I pulled that one out.
Yeah.
It was called The Basics, the 10 napkin presentations.
Which, if you don't know what that is, folks, it's basically how you show somebody how network marketing works. It's the 4-year career only in a napkin. It's like 5 who get 5 who get 5 who get 5. And everybody does $100 a month and you make a bunch of money. That was the book. And that book has changed hundreds of thousands, millions of lives. And as I think about it, if you think about the impact, so this is a little book that Don wrote, and somehow you got it in a garage sale. And the journey that book took you on, 11 companies over 11 years?
10 years, 11 companies, yeah.
With no success. And
None.
Were you still working at Southwest as a ticket agent then? Or?
No. America West.
America West, yes.
America West. And yes, I was. I was in the final years of that. Yeah, it was America. It wasn't Southwest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Southwest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Arizona, Dallas, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that little book powered you for 10 years, 11 companies. And then you sponsor 15 people that do nothing. The 16th person is Jackie Ulmer. Now, audience, you may not know Jackie Ulmer, but Jordan and I would know Jackie Ulmer even if he never sponsored her, because she's an icon in our profession. She has been
She's another one that was impacted. She was impacted by that book that I picked up at the garage sale. Her life was changed.
Well, by the fact that you put her in Excel, and then she went on to be successful. And, she's coached and trained and spoken and consulted to companies and built teams ever since then in network marketing. What a fascinating story. And then, of course, unfortunately, Excel blew up. But
I want to backtrack just a minute. I had never talked to Don or met him or anything like that. And I don't know, 20 years later, maybe even 25 years later, I tripped over his book in a box in one of my storage, right? And I pull it out. Pages are yellow because it's so old. And there's an 800 number in it. And I thought, I'm going to call it and see who answers. I hadn't heard his name in 25, 30 years, right? And I never talked to the guy. And I called the 800 number, and his wife picked up.
Wow.
And I just assumed that he had passed away because he had to be really.
No, he's still alive today, I think.
No, he did pass away a couple years.
Okay.
Yeah. But she said he was touring over in Europe and doing events and things. And so I ended up meeting him, and I was on his podcast a couple times before he passed away, and it was really good. So anyway.
That is the coolest. All right. Well, then tell us how you bounced, because, a lot of people listening to this podcast, if you're in network marketing, you built, something happened, company went out of business, company changed the product, company came to comp plan, your team quit, whatever, something happened, and you had to start over. And whenever you're thinking about the drama and trauma of starting over, you should just think about Jordan. 11 companies, 10 years with no success. Then he knocks it out of the park. Dream come true. Making millions of dollars. And you would think, okay, right? The world is my oyster. I'm now just going to travel the world on a magic carpet and everything's going to be extraordinary. But then one day, oops.
Over. Right.
All over.
In a day, there were signs that there was trouble, but nothing real blatant. And then one day I just when you said bounced, I wasn't sure if you were going like the helicopter. No. I bounced in the helicopter. No. And then, not that. No. So, cause that happened too.
Yeah.
So No, I got a note. I got a call from a guy named Phil Mims, who I'm still in contact with today. He was number 4, I think, in our company out of 2.5 million people, top earner. And he said, "It's over, Jordan." He goes, "No more checks." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Nope, they're shutting everything down." And so it would be like if the two of us owned a big record player company with thousands of employees all across the country, and then one day somebody invented digital.
Yeah.
We were out of business. Like there was nothing we could do to pivot at that point. And so that's what happened in our company. We were analog based, and the whole industry went digital. It didn't have to do with the network marketing piece. It had to do with our product.
Right.
And so I was faced with, what do I do now? And I got to tell you, it was very emotional, very, very emotional, because I spent 13 years there, and I had thousands of friends at that company that were all over the country, and we didn't have the internet. Like, we didn't have the ability to do this back then. There was no FaceTime. I just knew that we were all going to scatter, and that there were a lot of people I would never see again. And it was, and then our income, I went from making 80 grand a month to zero. And so I did have equity. I didn't have other cash flow, but I did have some savings and some real estate and that. And so I blew through $80,000 in 4 months, just trying to keep up on my bills. And I knew I didn't have forever to figure something out. And I tripped upon another company, Send Out Cards, and I joined. And it was funny because I showed you this. I sent you a picture of this. This was actually something I had framed on my table, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to you.
Yeah, hold it up close and hold it steady.
Yeah, so I had actually, they moved a bunch of people over to Shackley, which was a really bad fit, but we had the opportunity to move some of our team and keep the genealogy. And I was making, at that point with Shackley, I had a few people come over, most of them quit, but I was making at that point $1,400 a month with Shackley. And then my girlfriend at the time, she got involved in Vima and talked me into, getting a position there. So I jumped into Vima, and I started 1 day a week. I started built that up to where I was making $135 a month. And then I was involved in Send Out Cards, and my Send Out Cards check was $1,200. Was it 12 or 15? $1,260 in that. And then what is that last one there? Jana, my other girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, she owed me money.
I remember
she
her.
owed me money, so I put that down. And then I had $200 in cash that somebody paid me. So this was my checks for one of the months, where my nut was like 20 grand a month, $23,000 a month. And so I was like scrambling, trying to get my income back up. And my Send Out Cards really was the most that was in perfect alignment with me. Like, it was something I liked Cody, and I believed in his mission. And so I jumped into that full time and let everything else go, and built it up. And I just took what I learned, the lessons that I learned, and also the skills, and I started showing the business 5 to 8 times a day. Literally 5 to 8 times a day. And I kept track. And I started signing up about one person a day. And over the next 5 weeks, I signed up, I think, 38 people. In my early state, in the very early part of my Send Out Cards journey. And from those 38, a couple of people emerged that wanted to build the business and build it big. And so I signed up in my business. I've signed up in 20 years. I've signed up about 700 people, which sounds like a lot, but it's only 3 a month if you figured it out. It's about 3 people a month for 21 years. And from those 700, I gave 6,000 presentations in order of 1 out of 9. I figured all this out. I do about 1 presentation a day, and about 1 out of 9 sign up. 8 of them tell me no, so I got 6,200 no's, something like that, right? And about 95% of my income comes from 8 of those 700.
And how many of the 8 came out of I guess it was 2 out of the first 30 something?
Say it again. How many of the 8 came where?
Out of the first batch of 30, I guess it was 2. You said you got 2 of them?
2. Yeah, so I had, I created a little bit of momentum. Here's one of my beliefs is, and this is very opposite of what you're going to hear from other people in this profession, especially the amateurs that pretend that they're professionals. And that is that when you join, it's really not about how many people are making money. It's not a lottery. It's like everybody wants to know, well, how much are people making and how many people are making money and da da da. The way I looked at it, by the time I got into my 13th company, essentially, which, 14th or 15th if you count Vima and Shackley, by the time I got into the company I'm in now, I realized that you can be the cause of the success of the company.
Totally.
Like 90%, 95% of our company is in my organization. Now, I'm not saying if I didn't join that it wouldn't have happened, but I did play a big part in the success of our company.
Yeah, well, 95%.
Yeah.
A perspective that is valuable, I think, for sales leaders to have. If you think about any company, if you think about Excel, think about Send Out Cards, think about Shackley, any of these companies, when a company starts, so just imagine, okay, Arbonne starts, Send Out Cards starts, Shackley starts. How does the company then grow? Well, companies don't recruit people.
Right.
Well, the company is like
they start
a legal
they like the match.
Well, a company is actually just a legal entity.
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper.
Right.
Somebody has to recruit the first people. Who is that? Well, that's the owners of the company.
Right.
So Cody had to recruit the first people in to Send Out Cards. Now, he may not be in the genealogy, or he may be in the genealogy. It doesn't matter. People recruit people. Companies don't. So Send Out Cards is nothing more than Cody's personal sales organization. Excel.
Right. In fact, Cody, he signed up 133 people. I don't know, 130 something when he started the company,
Yeah.
and I was not one of those. I came in later.
Yeah.
But 100% of our company is under one person today.
So out of those 130, only one stuck. Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad
Yeah.
odds. Usually it's more like 5%.
Better. Yeah.
We're going to have to work with Cody a little bit on his onboarding. But, he's persistent.
Yes, he is. And by the way, the name of the company now is, he wrote, his first book was Promptings. That was the book that launched the company. And he really always wanted it to be that name. It's a long story, but the name of our company is Promptings, not Send Out Cards Technology. So
I love Promptings as the name. It's such a better fit for Cody's story and his purpose and what the company's doing. And that I've always held that what you guys do is just the perfect network marketing product, because it's the only product that I've ever seen or heard of that when you receive it as a prospect, a brand new customer, when you first receive it, you don't have to wait 30 days or 90 days. You don't have to put it in a blender. You don't have to try to choke it down. You have to do anything. As soon as you get the product, you feel fantastic. And when you sell the product, you feel fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just a win-win.
yeah.
And so which is why I'm a customer. I might even be a distributor. I don't know. That's okay if I am. I don't mind. So that's Send Out Cards. Here's a point I wanted to make, because people are probably going, wait, 20 years, Send Out Cards, you're still presenting every day. You've enrolled 700 people. What about residual income? Well, I don't know anybody else, Jordan, and I'm sure there are people, but actually, I'll bet you don't know anybody else either. And we know a lot of people in this profession. I don't know anybody else that 20 years in presents every day. And I know that you at least average one a day.
Yeah. Average.
You do.
So I work about. I love what I do. I love what I do. Like I can't imagine doing anything else. If I was retired and just living off my checks, I'd be bored out of my mind. When I have a day where there's nothing on my calendar, sometimes I don't know. I don't have a boat that I can jump in the ocean like you. You know,
You need to buy a boat.
No, but no, I've got things. I've always got things that I can do. I do keep myself busy. But I work a couple hours. Truthfully, I work 2 to 3 hours a day. And there's many days that I don't work, and there's some days that I put in 12 hours. You know, I love what I do, and so I can't imagine. I always think like if something were to happen to our company, what would I do? And I don't know. Like I don't have another plan right now. This is where I'm at, and but there's two things that came to mind when you were talking. One of the things you asked a question about why, like why did you early on? You said why did you stay with it? Truthfully, it was about a decision. It was a decision that I made that I wasn't, I didn't, there was no other option for me than to have a residual income. Like I knew I might have to work jobs along the way to pay my bills, but my future involved a residual check that would allow me to live my dreams, which I knew after 17 years in corporate America, I knew that I was never going to be able to live the dreams that I had. And I have a fantastic life. You know, Richard, like I have if you knew like the life that I've lived over the past 20 to 30 years has been just incredible. And I attribute that to network marketing, leverage, residual income, and this profession and the people, you and the people that I've aligned myself with, you know, if people really knew how great it was, you might feel discouraged. You might want to quit, but you wouldn't quit if you knew how great it was.
He's run through brick walls to get it done.
It's like it's hard to believe some of the stuff. Like I can't. Being in the world that I was in prior to network marketing, when I look at my life today, like
if you saw a little video of you and Richard Branson on Necker Island hanging out together, you would go,
right? Like this is not even possible.
How's that possible?
I mean, I spent morning, noon, and night with Richard Branson. We were on this boat multiple times. I hung out with his wife and got to know her. Played chess with him a few times. We were breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I had a 1-to-1. It wasn't even scheduled. It was totally impromptu. I ended up having a 1-to-1 breakfast with him out at the big house with 360-degree views of the British Virgin Islands. And it was just me and him for 2 hours, just a conversation.
Wow. Priceless.
Yeah. Like that's not going to happen working a job and being in a cubicle at the airline or at the state of Arizona or city of Phoenix, you know?
Yeah.
I just knew that a residual check, beach money, which it ended up being called over the years, is the reason. It's the reason I have the life I do today.
Yep. All right, well, let's talk about beach money, because there is, if you could all of you visualize Don Fala's little garage sale book, somehow Jordan decides no matter what, even if it takes 10, 11, 12 companies, he's going to walk through walls to get his residual income. He finally makes it in the 12th company. He finally, after 15 nobody does anything, sponsors Jackie Ulmer. And well, she doesn't necessarily blow it up, but she gets 20 people. And out of that 20 people, there's one. And it blows up. Third generation. And then out of that, Jordan writes a book, which of course he should, right? He should write a book about his story. So what does he call it? Beach money. So how does beach money then touch people? Like worlds away, thousands and thousands of miles away, there's a single mom. She's 38-ish. She's working in a dead-end job, making $2,000 a month. She can't really handle her young teenage daughter. Like, I think she's maybe like 10, 11, 12, something like that, during the summer months because there's no school, so the daughter's out all day long. And so what she ends up doing is sending her daughter with her sister, because her sister is pretty wealthy, and her sister's always going to Europe with the family. So they take the daughter, they take Haley. Hey, Haley, come to Europe with us. It's okay. We'll take you. We'll take care of you. Mom's got to work. So mom gets a hold of a book called Beach Money. And mom personally enrolls about 50 people in some deal selling chia seeds. And in her 5th year, she's making over $100,000 a month. That's my wife, Kimmy, who I would never have met.
Before you met?
I would have never have met Kimmy if it weren't for you. I would have never have met Kimmy if it weren't for Jackie Ulmer. I would have never have met Kimmy if it weren't for Don Phelan. It's one of the beautiful things about our profession is connect the dots. It's like the ripple effect is mind-boggling.
I remember on a cruise ship, I believe it was on a cruise ship, that Kimmy came over to me. It was a network marketing cruise, and she came over to me and told me that Beach Money changed her life.
She's told me that.
I'd never met her.
Yep.
Yeah.
She wanted to make sure that I reminded you of that. And I am in a remote location at my ranch where I don't keep books. So I don't have a Beach Money. And I know you're in Jerome, which is remote. But oh, look, how ironic that you happen to have a copy of each. Beach Money and Better Than Beach Money. So, folks, I think there's lots of books you can buy on how to build a network marketing business. You don't even need to buy a book about that. You can like YouTube it or Google it. It's pretty simple. That's not the big question. The big question is why to. It's the why to that drove Jordan through 11 companies that didn't work. It's the why to that drove him to personally enroll 15 people in the 13th company or the 12th company that he didn't think would work, but then it did. It's the why to. And I think there's maybe 3 books in the 100-year history of our profession that do a profound job of dealing with the why to. One is Don Phelan's The Napkin Presentation, which you can still find, you can buy, little tiny book. One is Beach Money. I wrote one, it's not bad, for your career. But
For your career is, I bet you I've given away at least 100 copies of that, maybe probably more. I've given away more than 100 copies of For Your Career. That book is it's a life-changing book. It helps you. You know what it is, Richard? Here, this is, and you. I know you've probably trained on this before. Is that it's blind spots. People that I had blind spots, but I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to create, but I had blind spots, things that I couldn't see that were required for me to see in order to have the success I was looking for. And what For Your Career does is it helps you see things that you don't currently see, especially if you've been an employee all your life.
Yeah.
Or an unsuccessful distributor in a network marketing company.
Well, it just deals with why network marketing from a more of a mathematical, logical, legal standpoint, where Beach Money is more of an emotional, belief building, storytelling standpoint. They are really an awesome 1-2 punch, because some people don't relate, they don't care about numbers and they just want to hear stories. Beach Money is just, it's an iconic, everybody not only needs to read it, you know, and I think this is, you say you've given away 100 books. People go, well, why would you do that? Because these books are not books for you necessarily to read yourself. Of course, read it. It only takes like an hour to read it. But these are books that you put in the hands of people that you're looking to elevate their belief. These are books that you put in the hands of prospects. So you got somebody thinking about your business, or maybe you haven't even told them about it yet. Say, hey, I got a fascinating book on freedom and fun and living and life and abundance and getting rich. It'd take you about an hour to read. You want to read it? They're going to say, sure. You give them beach money. And then when they're done with beach money, you just ask them, you want to see how I do it? Because the want to see how I do it could be Promptings. It could be Young Living. It could be Arbonne. It could be Shackley. It could be Melaleuca. It could be anything, right? And so very often what we do is we lead with our products or our company. And you know what? That's all marketing and people don't care about that. But if you lead with the concept and you get people to open their eyes to the concept, then you just drop in whatever company you're passionate about and you have a much better audience. And then everybody on your team that's not doing anything, the only reason they're not doing anything is they don't believe the work is worth it. That's it. They just don't believe the work is worth it. They don't believe whatever that comp plan will spit out. They just don't understand it. They don't believe it. They don't believe if they actually do the work. They think, I don't know, maybe what if it doesn't? What if something, what if? They don't believe. If they knew for a fact that they could make 10 grand a month for the rest of their life just by enrolling 100 people, they'd go do it, right? It's not that hard.
The word that you use, Richard, is a key. It's a key distinction, and that is the word if they knew. Most people go from believing to doubting. That's the opposite of belief is doubt, right? And the opposite of doubt is belief. But when you transcend belief and doubt to the area of knowing, it's a different mindset, and you approach your business different. I just know that if I keep going, I'm going to get a residual check.
Yeah. We, as professionals, it really only comes with experience, but we know, pick any decent company, decent products. Now, you don't really know if a company's going to be here forever. The best way to know is how long have they been here. So if they've been here 30 years, well, they got a pretty good shot of being here another 30 years. If they've been here 3 years, I don't know. But pick a company that you're passionate about and a product you're passionate about. Personally enroll 100 people in the next 2 years. Like, that's a pace of 4 a month, 1 a week. And you may say that's a lot of people, but all that really means is you have to do 3 or 4 presentations, maybe 5 presentations a week, which means you have to ask 4, 5, 6 people, 7 people a day if they'll just look, which actually only takes about 15, 20 minutes. So if you boil it all the way down to that, if you know that formula works, it's like a deadlock cinch. It's a ticket to financial freedom because it'd work in any company. It's kind of a numbers game. It's like about 5 to 7% of the people out there are fed up enough in the moment you happen to talk to them. Fed up enough or passionate enough about doing something or rebellious enough or courageous enough or pissed off enough or something to say, screw it. I don't care what anybody thinks. Yeah, let's do this. And that's the kind of people it takes to build in network marketing. Because if you care deeply what other people think, you're dead.
You guys, this is a dream come true. We've done this before, an interview like this quite a few times, but this is a dream come true for me to be here with Richard. Like, seriously, he was my mentor from afar for years. And I still have to pinch myself being here with Richard like this, doing this, where he's interviewing me for a podcast. But it's really, I'm really grateful. In fact, you know what? I don't think I ever told you this. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
You can say bad things. It's okay.
You always reminded me of, you were almost like a hero to me. And you always reminded me of someone. And I could never put my finger on it until fairly recently. You remind me of the original Batman. What was his name? It was not Burt Ward, I think was Robin. What was that guy? What was his name? Do you remember?
I don't know. I never watched Batman.
You never watched Batman? Yeah. So if you're watching go on YouTube and find one, and there's something about your personality that, and he was kind of my hero growing up, so maybe that's what it
You
was.
mean like the TV show Batman and the?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I watched that a little bit.
Yeah,
Where they had the Batmobile.
Yes, all that. Yeah. I have to tell you a funny story. So I tripped over a copy of Beach Money that was for sale on eBay. I think I Googled my name to see what people were saying about me, and a Beach Money book came up for sale on eBay, and I clicked on it, and it was a signed book. It was signed to a specific couple, and they were selling it on eBay for 25 cents.
What?
And I thought, yes, and I thought to myself, if they had applied one thing from the book, they would have made more than 25 cents.
Well, that begs the story. You could sell $100 bill for how much?
Oh yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah, that 3.2 million. I sold a $100 bill. I auctioned off a $100 bill from Stage. That's such a long story, Richard.
It is.
Do we really want to go?
No, we're gonna put it out there, and they're just going to have to think about it. And if they want to learn about it, they can go find it. But Jordan Adler did. I sat there and watched him do it. In fact, I filmed it. Not sure where that is, but it was filmed professionally. It was a GoPro.
Yeah.
It was a big GoPro too. There might have been 10,000 people there. 8,000 people.
Yep.
Jordan gets up on stage with a $100 bill, and what he's doing is he's teaching people about value, about the stories, the perspective that builds value. So he started off with, who will give me $50 for this $100 bill? Everybody raises their hand. Who will give me $100 for this $100 bill? Well, people raise their hand because they want to go up on stage and be seen giving Jordan $100, right? Who will give me $200? Well, there's still some people that raise their hand. Jordan sold that $100 bill for $3.2
million real dollars in 8 minutes.
Real dollars in 8 minutes. And this is how real it is. The guy that bought it from Silicon Valley is a tech multimillionaire. I lived in Carmel at the time. I drove up to his home to interview him. Weeks later, who are you? What's wrong with you? Are you really going to pay $3.2 million, which was donated to charity, didn't go to Jordan?
Right. He didn't know that at the time.
He
didn't know where the money
He didn't. And yeah, I'm telling you, the guy is the real deal, and he really did it, and he did it for his own reasons. But you can go learn about that story. That's a real story of Jordan Adler. There's another real story of Jordan Adler, which I don't know if that's still going to play out. Maybe there's some changes I heard about. But you, for many years, maybe you still are, the only network marketer on the planet that's going to space, going to the moon. Is that still happening?
Well, you don't. No, it's not. Okay. And that's another rabbit hole we don't want to go
down. All right, I won't go down there.
Right
but
let me just say this. The decision to become part of the Virgin Galactic Civilian Space Program was a great decision. I got to meet a lot of incredible people. I got to be around Richard when he went to space. I was at the party, the after party. I was there with the Virgin Galactic employees. I got to spend time on Necker Island, all of it. But that company, I'm just going to say it. I don't think that their stock went from $60 a share down to $2 a share, and they're out of money, and they're not sending the ships up right now. I don't believe I would have ever gone, to be honest. So I pulled out of the program. Richard pulled out. Richard's not even in the program anymore. Yeah. He's gone. He's not even in it. Part of the company. So.
Well, I think his approach to starting companies is he just like network marketing. He just starts couple hundred of them, and maybe 10 of them will work. That's all right.
Most of his companies lose billions, but then he has companies that make him money too.
Yeah, for sure. So Jordan, what do you one of the topics of conversation with people is since COVID, everything was great until COVID, and then COVID and COVID and now we got COVID and post-COVID, and now after COVID, nobody wants to, after COVID, can't recruit anybody. Nobody wants to go to meetings. Nobody wants to make money. Nobody has any ambition. Nobody has any dreams or goals after COVID. You know, COVID. What are you?
Those are all.
What's your
Yeah,
perspective?
those are all lies
Yeah.
that people have been telling themselves. And when the lie becomes big enough, it becomes a thing, and then it's like a mass group of people all start believing it, and it may not even be true, and it becomes true because everybody starts believing it. So last month, this isn't because I'm not offering any special deals. I'm not doing anything different than I've ever done before. I continue to focus on making friends, meeting new people, looking for opportunities to contribute to their lives in some positive way. And the result of that is I continue to build my network. Now, I'm not talking about my network marketing business. I'm talking about my network of people. And the result of that over time is it becomes easier and easier and easier to bring people into your business because there's just more of them. And if it's a good fit, they just end up coming into your business, but not because there's more people. So last July, I sponsored 3 personally. And the month before that, June, I sponsored 9 personally. And I didn't do anything special. Like I didn't do anything different. I'm still doing like approximately 1 presentation a day. I'm sending out videos. I can tell you that since COVID, that shifted everybody's perspective on everything. Like the way we look at everything. And because we were all working in our homes, we were forced to, if we wanted to continue to build, we had to use Zoom or go to meeting or whatever. And that's how everybody started building. And it became, because people were bored and they were looking for stuff to do and they were trying to figure out how they were going to pay their bills, it actually created a spike in growth in the network marketing profession. But then after everything settled out, when things started opening again, people got excited about being free again, and then they could start. And they had government money, and they started traveling, and they got distracted, and people forgot what it took to build a business. And I think today it requires you as a company to be better than ever before. You have to be really resourceful, and you've got to be really tuned in to the technology that's out there, and you have to, like, if you want to compete in, especially there's a few little things to talk about here, but if you want to compete in today's world, you've got to be good, because the commoditization of opportunity has made it really easy for people to launch opportunities. And then there's the affiliate programs, there's social media. Everybody is getting bombarded thousands of times a day with opportunity. And so that creates an environment that makes it more difficult to pull a team together and grow a team. So you've got to be really clear on your vision and your mission, which Richard can help you with. That's what his first book is about. You have to be very clear on that, and you've got to be able to communicate that. You've got to have technology that is consistent and in alignment with the way people are doing, consuming stuff today. You know, that all of it. So you got to get real good, and that's not easy, but
It's worth it.
It's worth it, and it's doable. So, you know, when you're looking at a company, I think that's important too. It's like, is your company resilient enough? Are they mission driven, or are they money driven? If they're money driven, they're probably not going to be long term.
Right. Yeah. So, Jeff Alchibers, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. So I had him speak to my mentorship group last week. You did a few months ago. So I called Jeff and asked him if he would, because he posted on Facebook something that I thought, well, my gosh, Jeff, you must have some crazy thing going on. So I actually messaged him and I said, you got some kind of weird contest going on, or you guys introduce a new product, or what's going on? He said, no, that was a normal month. He actually posted some numbers based on his June business. And he said, that was normal month. He said, in fact, I just went back and looked at May. and May was bigger than June.
Yeah.
Not much, but it was a little bigger. These are the numbers he posted for May. New customers signed up in May on his team, 11,715.
Amazing.
How many broke rank? That'd be all ranks on his team. 1,492. How many new diamonds? Now, diamond is usually a rank that requires, 50 to 100,000 a month in volume. 247. How many fast start signups? 1,946. So like you said earlier, Jordan, it doesn't matter that nobody's done this. It doesn't matter that hardly any people are doing this. It doesn't matter that a whole bunch of people are saying, COVID, 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 I can't do it. Nobody wants to do it. People are doing it, and you can do it. So if you look at like an income disclosure statement and it says, you want to make 10 grand a month, but only 0.001% of the people are earning 10 grand a month. You can either decide, well, then it's not possible, or you can decide, well, that 0.001, they figured it out. They're doing it. So I could figure it out and I could do it. In fact, if somebody in your company is making 10 grand a month in your upline, they want nothing more than to teach you how they did it, and they'll teach you for free.
Right.
Where else in the world? In fact,
What a gift.
in every company that's 10 years old or older, somebody in your upline is making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
They're selling the same product you're selling. They got the same comp plan you got. They got the same training you got. And they will, for free, teach you how they did it.
Where else can you get real life experiential training? Where else can you get that like that and you don't have to pay for it?
We have the best profession in the world. I don't want to forget, and I might if I get on a roll about something else. Where is the best place for people to get your books?
Yeah, so it's on Audible and it's also on Amazon. The easiest and quickest way to get it is just go to Amazon and you can get it on Audible, which is on Amazon. That's the easiest and quickest way to get it.
And I would encourage you folks, when you get the book, right after you get into it, don't even wait till you finish it. Right after you get into it, if you find it valuable, leave a review on Amazon right then. Because your review could be responsible for somebody deciding to buy that book and could be responsible for changing their life. So get the book, get 50 of the books, and give them to your team. Or send a link to your team and tell them, buy this book. So the future of network marketing, you think is?
You know what? As long as people are people, the future of network marketing is bright. And because people have dreams that are unfulfilled, people work hard and they don't make much money in what they do now. They don't have any time freedom. People are looking for that. Relationships between people are relationships will always win over tactics, and that's a human quality. There's no AI that will ever replace that. And so I think all those things, and then there's also people out there that want to start companies and they want to provide opportunities. So you put all that stuff together and make some soup with it, it's going to be success. There's going to be success stories.
Yep.
Many.
Yeah.
And many more.
I think our future is very, very bright. And I just look at the past election. What won the past election? Immigration for some people, but for almost everybody, it was the price of eggs, groceries. The $500 a month, people feel like they're upside down. And so how do you make that up? You go to your boss at America West Airlines and say, I don't know if you've noticed, but the cost of everything is higher, right? I mean, everything's higher. And I've noticed you've raised the price of flights here at America West. And so I'd like for you to raise my salary $500 a month so I can keep up with the prices of everything. Would that be okay with you? Try that. See how it works.
Yeah.
You'd be lucky if you got 3% every 3 years. We have an answer. We have an answer where somebody can invest, $20, $50, $100, $500, 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, and you can build an empire that not only carries you your whole life, but generations beyond you. And there are people doing that.
You know what I love? I love no inventory, no products to purchase, unlimited potential, no capital investment. You don't have to buy a bunch of stoves and dishes and light fixtures and all that stuff. No leases. You can work from home. All the hard stuff is done for you by your company. The only thing you need to do is share it with other people. That's it.
Yeah.
Share this with other people, right? Get them signed up and train them. If I were to offer a vending machine, I don't know what a vending machine costs today, $10,000 maybe, or I think you could probably get a used one for $5,000, but a new one, a real nice one, might cost you $20,000. But I'm going to give you one for $1,000. Just going to give it to you. How many people would want it? Well, usually there's like 10% want it. What if I told you that I'm going to provide the maintenance on it, and if it ever breaks, I'm going to make sure that all the maintenance is on it, covered. It's going to be repaired and fixed immediately, anytime that machine breaks. Do you want it? Well, there's more people that want it then. Well, what if I said, I'm going to supply all the product, and the product's going to be fresh, and if any of the product starts to turn stale, I'm going to pull it out of the machine and make sure the machine's always full with the best product that you could possibly have, and you don't have to pay a penny for the product. I'm going to make sure that's done. Maintenance, product, machine, $1,000. How many of you want it? Now there's more people that want it. What if I told you that I'm going to collect all the money, I'm going to add up the money, I'm going to create a report for you, I'm going to send you your check with the report. What if I told you for $1,000 you could have unlimited machines? Unlimited. And I'll even help you place them. And how many of you want it? What we've got in our business, it's the same model.
Yeah.
It's just we deal with people, not machines. Every time a new distributor or consultant joins your business, it's like adding another vending machine that you didn't have to pay for. That has products that you didn't have to pay for. That is maintained for you that you didn't have to pay for. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. We got it all, folks. So, what do you do with this podcast? Well, if you're by yourself, if you don't have a team yet, if I were you, I'd listen to it every day for 10 or 15 days. And what you'd get out of it is you'd actually remember what we talked about. There is pure science that will remind us that 72 hours from now, you're only going to remember 10% of what you heard in the last hour. But if you listen to it every day for the next 10 days, you got a chance of remembering most of the highlights, which will then do you some use. If you have a team of 2 or 20 or 200 or 2,000, send them a link to this. Ask them to listen to it. Jordan's story is one of the most iconic, inspirational, unique, profound, courageous stories in the history of our profession, and entertaining. Every distributor needs to know his story, inside out, frontwards, and backwards. And they need to know Jordan. And all they need to do is get out a little bit, and they'll meet him, because he's everywhere. Right?
Thank you for that, Richard.
Well, thank you for the time, Jordan. It's great to see you,
Fantastic.
buddy.
So great.
We're only
Me too.
the Sierra mountain range apart.
Yeah.
Why don't you hop in the helo and come see me? I got a landing pad.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's enticing. Although the helicopter's in Vegas and I'm in the mountains of Arizona.
All right. Next time.
So.
We do have a dream, Jordan and I. Maybe if I lay it out there, we'll actually get it done. We have a dream that someday he and I are going to get in the helicopter and we're going to tour the United States and just do meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. Landing in your backyard.
We're gonna bounce from city to city.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, buddy. And thank all of you for joining us.
Happy travels.
We'll
See you,
next
everybody.
time.